Okay. What's up, cool kids? My lighting has taken another plunge, it looks like. That's weird. I thought I had it worked out tonight. That's fine. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to go ahead and open with a plug now. I currently have a stretch goal going on my Patreon. If I can make like slightly more money, I can probably buy a less appalling webcam and we can try to fix this situation a little bit. I want to check in like I always do. Am I audible right now? I'm seeing a lot of hellos in the group chat, but I don't know if that's like in response to words or if, oh no, okay. Hi, the cat is here. Ah, say hello. Yeah, okay. All right. Get on out of here. Thank you, little man. So that's cool. We got the arcane cameo out of the way, like right off the bat. Hang on. This is also untenable. We're going to work with this. Oh, Caitlin, Arcane would let you sell your soul for him, which is an embarrassing thing to admit as his parent, but he's not a great boy. I mean, he's an awesome boy, but he would let you sell your soul, no questions asked. Okay, cool. I'm so jazzed to get rolling tonight. I'm so excited that folks were like up and talking before I even went live. I'm sorry. I'm glad you were because I was watching another YouTube video in another tab and I was like, this is fun. I'm going to watch it right up until the minute. Then I got way too into it. You should all go check out ContraPoints' new video. It's really good. And she dismantles turf ideology like really well. Okay. Also shout out to the 3 people who have already liked this video 60 seconds in. Bless the fuck up. Okay. So I'm going to hit the ground running because I've been waiting for this all day. I did that thing again where I spent all Saturday just kind of like sitting around, wasting my day, couldn't focus on anything. And then like an hour before it was time for the stream, I was like, oh, fuck, I have to get a lot of stuff together. So that's been my day. In fairness to me, my apartment almost burned down last night because my beautiful friend Sarah started a grease fire in my oven. So, okay, this is going to help, I think. Hang on. I didn't even set up the fucking lighting. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, cool. I don't know which part Mary is calling valid, if it's like me putting everything off to the last minute or if it's the starting a grease fire in my oven, but you're right and both are valid. I wasn't really worried. It was the funniest fucking thing that's ever happened. Grease fires are easy. It was a little concerning that it was inside of the oven and not on the stovetop. I've done a lot of fires on my stovetop. I had to like empty out 2 boxes of baking soda inside the oven to put it out, but be gay, commit arson. We were really aiming for some be bi, commit arson. She was very nice about it. I thought it was hilarious. Because I didn't cause it. She did by trying to cook in my oven. So I just got to be the cleanup crew. Anywho's, also, yeah, Roman, we did jump to a lot of likes. I think it's because my lighting improved drastically. So this is like noted. Be by do crimes. That's the motto, kids. Okay. So we're going to hit the ground running tonight. Actually, I'm going to go open the door because the boy is screaming. Please talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Oof. Okay, I love you. Get out. Oof. Okay. And I'm back. Ugh. Yeah, the boy was just like yelling because he hates being here while I work. I don't know why. He just likes to show up and cause a scene and then be like, they love me more than you. And then he leaves. So like, you know, the usual. So tonight we're going to talk about one of the very first topics that I actually started leading like discussions and workshops around when I started being a sex ed person in real life in addition to the internet. And that is the entire concept of, oh, I'm so sorry, Other Emily, you did miss Arcane. You know what? I shouldn't call you Other Emily when the other person named Emily isn't even here. Emily Prime, you did miss Arcane. I'm very sorry. He might come back towards the end if he sits outside the door and screams. So public school sex ed is one of the first topics I really started researching and talking about when I became an in real life sex witch in addition to an internet sex witch, which happened approximately 10 minutes after people started sending me questions on my blog because I was like out of my mind excited about it. And it was the coolest thing that ever happened to me. I don't want to be like that shameless, but if you hop on my Patreon, I think the $3 tier, I don't know my own Patreon levels, but I publish a post every month. It's called Mackenzie Answers for Her Crimes, where I explain the origin story of a popular text post that I made. And this month, to tie in with this stream, I did the very first like sex ed post I ever made on tumblr.com and kind of like explained all of that and got really rambly and talked a lot about like what being the sex witch is like done for my life and like what happened to my sister after her sex ed class. Thank you, Jess. So if anyone wants to like read that, it did make me cry in a public library. And if you want to hop on and support, again, my current stretch goal is to get up to $99 a month. We're very close. And if I get there, I will, one, make you a video telling you my unpopular opinions about John Green. And two, I will try to buy a better fucking webcam. So this can be, like, I'm cute now. Imagine how cute I am with a webcam actually made to function. Okay, done shameless plugging. Let's get cracking. So this is obviously going to be one of those episodes that I think is most relevant to a specific group of folks, namely those who live in the United States and benefited from U.S. public school sex ed. I know that a lot of you don't, so this will hopefully be fun for you because you get to sit back and laugh at how ass backwards we are, or you can commiserate because I talk a lot of shit about us, but I know very well there are a lot of other countries that have it like differently, if not equally bad. What's really wild is that there was a time in the fairly recent past where America was actually kind of considered on the cutting edge of sex education, and educators from other countries contacted us for advice on how to like implement things in their own country. Why am I holding this pen? On how to implement things in their own countries that would work effectively. Those days are long gone, and we don't have time to get into all the history on that right now. I know it sounds so fake. Like when I was reading, what's the book? What's the book? It is called, hang on. There are two really good books on this topic if you want to get really into the history of sex ed. One is called Too Hot to Handle. I believe it is by I didn't think you were going to get me to talk about books. Shit. Okay, one is called Too Hot to Handle, and it is by Jonathan Zimmerman, and it is a little bit more of a global history if you want to be like really into what went on internationally and how America kind of declined. So then there is also Talk About Sex by Janice Irvine. I cannot believe I forgot those names. Those are like two books that I know it is. The book club corner is kind of like a feature of the Sex Witch stream now. So that's what we got. Jonathan Zimmerman's Too Hot to Handle, Janice Irvine's Talk About Sex, which is much more America-centric and much more closely tracks the American politics that kind of brought about that downfall. Caitlin, I know you love book club corner. What's up? So those are both really good. I do want to do like a whole stream someday that is about like the history component. I'm going to give you like a very short spoilery version, which is that a lot of right-wing politicians kind of cottoned on to the fact that they could use sex as a fear tactic to get a lot of conservative parents on their side and make that a political issue and use it to kind of like take over schools. Yeah, spoiler alert. I hate when I spoil like several decades worth of history. But that is kind of what has put us in the sorry state we are in now. And I try to use like the most up-to-date info I can give you when I do this workshop. I update it every year using research from the Guttmacher Institute, who I would also super recommend. They have like a really handy chart that is a very easy visual comparison of what each state requires or bans outright if you live in America and you want to check that, or again, if you don't and you just want to like cross compare how bad is it in each state, we're going to dive into that a little bit. So I didn't think I was going to, like I said, I didn't think I was going to be shouting out a book for this stream. I thought I was going to be shouting out the Guttmacher Institute, who have been my best friend on this front for years. Thank you, Guttmacher. No, I will keep recommending books. Sorry, you can't stop me. So, okay. Finding my place in my, I learned my lesson last time. I'm never doing this on my phone again. So excuse me while I switch tabs. So like I said, getting really deep into exactly what is wrong would take months for reasons that I'm about to explain, because I would have to go on a state by state basis. And there's 50 of those bad boys, and I don't have the time, and I also don't have the inclination. Like, I am sure there's a fascinating story behind like the sex ed policy in all 50 states. I'm not the person to find that history. I'm sorry. But we're going to go for kind of an overview to keep it down to about an hour. So I'm going to try to give you an overview of major shortcomings in the current sex ed system and explain why those shortcomings hurt everyone, but particularly queer people and people with vaginas and queer people with vaginas, because as we have discussed in a couple streams now, life is a fucking nightmare for people with vaginas. Shout out to Mary for making some dope art of that, which is my header for the foreseeable future on my blog. We did hit 20 people. I'm seeing 23, but I don't know if YouTube just makes up like sugar pill metrics to show me or what. So, well, I'm thrilled for everyone who's here. So I know like numbers are boring and stuff, but when I talk about sex ed in America, I do feel like it's appropriate to give you some numbers, just so you have a frame of reference. So as of 2019, only 24 states require that public schools teach their students any kind of sex ed. For those of y'all who are good with fractions, that is just a little under half of all states. There are more people watching this stream right now than there are states required to teach sex ed. And as I said that, one person left. So now there is the exact same number of people watching this stream as there are states required to teach sex ed. That's funky that that happened and kind of cool. I would like to ask that we do not keep up that trend, because if we keep dropping to the number of states that do a thing, we're going to end up with like 6 people watching this stream. And I need your attention to live because I'm a Leo. So the other 26 states can teach sex ed, of course, but it is absolutely not required. It's a serious subject that, if taught well, can be relevant and applicable to all students, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, but it's entirely up to the individual schools to decide if they want to bother with it or not. Like, can you imagine if we took such a casual approach to, like, reading or math? Like, the school board sat down and they were like, yeah, I don't think we're going to do it this year. Like, the parents don't love it. And like, the teachers just really aren't feeling it. Like, it's kind of awkward. It's uncomfortable for everyone. Like, fuck reading this year. Can you, like, it would be an absolute joke. And yet something that, like, I don't want to say more important, like, all skills have a place. Okay. But like, not all your students are going to use like literary. I mean, I fucking wish everyone would use basic media analysis skills every day. Right. But like, a lot of your students are never gonna like think about a book again after they graduate, which is like its own kind of tragedy. But all of your students are going to continue to have bodies, and many of them are going to continue being sexual beings. Oh wait, what do we got over here? Okay. Yeah, okay, to be clear, I'm not saying like schools teach all other subjects well. Never learned history past 1960. Yeah. Killing art and music programs. Yes. Chicago school system did that. I'm sorry, the Chicago school system stopped teaching reading. I'm concerned. I understand Chicago has problems. I feel. You know, many areas suffer in the American public schooling system. This is a big one. This is the one I specialize in. But you are all absolutely right that there are a lot of other things that get cut that probably shouldn't be getting cut. Yeah, okay, at Nathan, I almost rolled science in as an example, and then I remembered, like, a lot of America is just, like, blatantly anti-science and makes their schools teach creationism instead of evolution, and I was like, maybe not the best example to use. A lot of schools do straight up say, fuck science. So, there are only 13 states, speaking of being fuck science, only 13 states require that the information provided in sex ed classes be medically accurate, which sounds really bad, but don't worry, it's actually worse than it sounds, because what qualifies as medically accurate isn't really regulated by anyone, which means that a lot of these schools still end up teaching with outdated information from the 90s or just saying whatever the yeehaw fuck hell they want. That's a phrase that I've fallen a little bit in love with. So there are also 27 states that require abstinence be stressed as the best approach to sex, which is actually one more state than there was in 2016. So abstinence only is creeping back in. Surprise, surprise. And if you're the kind of person watching the Sex Witch stream, you probably don't need me to tell you why abstinence only sex ed isn't awesome, but I'm going to anyway. Oh, yeah, okay. From Roman, abstinence-only education is one of the reasons why my little sister's middle school already has several pregnant girls, apparently. Shocking. Let's dive into that. Let's get real into that one. So, admittedly, what qualifies as stressing abstinence also varies wildly from classroom to classroom, because in case I didn't emphasize this enough, there is no national curriculum. In some classes like mine, it means an underpaid gym teacher tells us all that abstinence is the only way to be 100% sure that we won't get pregnant or catch an STD, which is true, and then showing us how to use a condom anyway, because she knows what's up. Technically, abstinence was stressed as preferable. But in other places, it means going really heavy, browbeating the students, reminding them that sex is something that should only ever take place between a married man and a woman, and neglecting to give them any information about how to have protected sex at all. Shockingly, a 2011 study by the University of Georgia found that the more strongly abstinence education is emphasized in state laws and policies, the higher the average teenage pregnancy and birth rates. Who'da thunk, when you don't tell the kids how to avoid getting pregnant, they get pregnant. Yeah. Oh, wow. Mary just summed it up really nice by saying abstinence only doesn't work. That's it, everybody. That's the stream. We are wrapped. We just hit all the major points in one comment in the chat. It was so nice seeing you all. Please like and subscribe. Using that gross gum analogy, Julia, we're gonna get there. Trust me. I have so many feelings about that. I want to talk especially about those teen pregnancies for a second. And I want to preface by saying I'm in no way like shaming the teens who get pregnant. I think that teenagers who carry out pregnancies, whether they decide to raise the baby or give it up for adoption, are absolute fucking champs. I'm not disparaging teen parents. They are going through shit that like I will never understand. However, I don't think that it's wrong to say that the schools are doing their students a massive disservice when they don't even tell them how to avoid unplanned pregnancies. Teenagers who receive abstinence-only education are more likely to have unprotected or otherwise risky sex, and teenagers who don't use contraceptives have about a 90% chance of getting pregnant within 1 year. And about 70% of high school dropouts are related to pregnancy. And giving birth is more dangerous and fatal for teenagers, both the parents and their babies. Yikes on yikes on yikes on yikes. This is actively really fucking dangerous for the teenagers who can get pregnant. Oof. Oh God. Yeah, now I'm getting the pregnant classmate stories over in the chat. This is, yeah. I like running the sex ed is hecked discussion because like I found most people have a lot to say about it and contribute to it, which makes for like a great back and forth, but also all of the feedback is depressing as hell. If I look really happy to be talking about this, it's just because I'm enthusiastic. I've spent a lot of time researching. It's not because any of this brings me joy, I promise. Yeah, there we go. Here come the pregnant teen stories. Okay, so, and needless to say, this impacts young vulva owners who actually are the ones doing the fetus carrying than the people who are getting them pregnant. Abstinence only is fucking dangerous for vagina owners. Life is a fucking nightmare. You all know the drill. My mom was a very, very big fan of Teen Mom. There's no accounting for taste. And it's really striking how much the teen boys just kind of like kick it and play video games, you know, like I'm not saying, again, this is not all teen parents. I'm sure there are like some very proactive and great teen dads or otherwise teen penis owners who have a pregnant partner, who are just do like a great job. Those do not tend to be the ones who show up on Teen Mom. I'm still to this day haunted by how much they would just show scene upon scene of like the teen moms, like breaking down, crying in the cafeteria because it's all so hard and they don't know how to balance these responsibilities and their body changing and they're fighting with their mom. And then they like cut to the partner and he's just like sitting at home, like playing Overwatch or something. And it's like, wow, you're really busting your hump about this, huh? All right. Ooh, from Annabelle, we've got, yeah, the girls in my school were taught that condoms break and the pill doesn't work, so any sex before marriage will destroy your life. Bullshit. Bullshit, I say. This isn't a thing that I worked into the outline. Oh, why is there no show called Teen Dad? Because teen dads don't have their lives ruined for the most part. There are exceptions. I speak in generalizations. Okay, so to Annabelle's comment about how teens are kind of set up to think that any premarital sex will ruin your life. I didn't do a bullet point specifically to talk about the STD fear-mongering that a lot of sex ed classes do, but this just came up yesterday. I think I was talking about this with, I thought it was the person who almost burned down my apartment last night, but I don't think that's true, actually. I was talking about this with someone about how a lot of sex ed classes really love trotting out the pictures of STDs, but they always show you like the worst case scenario. Like it's like the genital warts that have gone untreated and taken over the entire body. It's like the super gonorrhea. It's like they find pubic lice the size of fucking lobsters. And they're like, this is what happens the second you get an STD. It's never... Like, it's never, oh, you can get an STD, but, like, don't worry. It's, like, totally possible to talk to your partner about how to avoid it and, like, use protection. A lot of these can be treated fairly easily. Like, they're not a, it's like, if you ever have sex, you will get super chlamydia and die. And it's so frustrating. And that's, like, a thing that, you know, didn't even really fully consciously occur to me until, you know, recently. Like, even after years of criticizing how sex ed is taught, you know, like, it's really just like a never-ending cycle of more and more things dawning on you. Is like, oh, that was also really fucked up. What the hell? Oh, I was taught all STDs are completely incurable. Bullshit. Y'all, should we do an STD night where I just like walk y'all through like the wonderful world of STDs and like what is and is not curable and what things are manageable? And I mean, most things are manageable. We should do an STD night. Look up Pam Stenzel. She's an abstinence-only speaker who's known for doing both an STD fear-mongering and the shaming girls who have sex spiel. That's a lot of them. From Dead God Jess, my mom had chlamydia. I took antibiotics and it sucked for a bit. That's it, y'all. It's so, like a lot of things are, you know, they're minor inconveniences. I should save this for, like, STD night and stuff, but, like, most humans statistically have, like, HPV at some point, you know, herpes, it's out there. It's all like most of us are going to get a thing, at least one thing at some point in our lives. And most of them are not going to be life ruiners. It's fine. Okay. So we'll pencil in an STD night. I'm just going to make a note of it right now. I knew there was a reason I was holding this pen. It's for that. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna try to roll a little bit back on track, but I love that. The energy is so juicy tonight. So another reason abstinence only doesn't work is that kids aren't being abstinent, and abstinence only educators are pretty willfully ignorant of that. I said I wasn't going to get into the history, and I'm not, but, you know, like I said, suffice to say, things really went to hell when certain conservative corners came up with the argument that teenagers are just naturally sexless creatures who will never want to explore their bodies or desires unless some pervy sex ed teacher gives them the idea to do it in the first place, which is blatantly fucking wrong. Children are observed like touching their genitals for pleasure as young as like 2 years old, and most childhood development specialists say that's completely fucking normal and healthy. People who experience a sex drive as part of their being they're gonna have those feelings whether or not someone tells them to have it. You know, it's not like you never experience a sex drive in your life until someone tells you that sex drives are a thing. It pretty much happens the opposite direction. Like, the best we can do is acknowledge that sex drives are a thing as people are already starting to experience them and offer them guidance. You don't activate it. You can just guide it and give direction. I want to tap in over here. My education was like, these are STDs and this is a condom. Please don't have sex. And this was in Canada. Julia, there is a reason that when I give this like talk in person with like a presentation behind me, I like to open with the clip from Mean Girls where the coach is like, okay, don't have sex because you will get pregnant and die. Now everybody take some rubbers. Like I realized that movie was made when I was like 6. What year did Mean Girls come out? Hang on. I swear to God, if one of you knows, it's off the dome. Mean Girls came out in 2004. I was 8. I was off by 2 years. I'm a child. I like to open with that clip because it was relevant then and it's still relevant now. I'm going to touch on this later, but like so much of the attitude is like, okay, sex is bad. Sex is dangerous. Sex is detrimental to your soul. But anyway, you're all going to like get married and like fuck. And that's like just how it is. Take a condom. Okay, I got taught that STD was changed to STI because most of them are curable. Yeah, people still use them pretty interchangeably. I think it's kind of a semantics thing for like, making them sound a little softer. Most people I know who like work in the field to some degree don't really, a lot of us use like a STD/STI. It's pretty fine. Yes, Emily, I am young. Who wants to buy me an early 23rd birthday present? I'm turning 23 later this year, but it's like months off. Don't stress about it. Please don't buy me anything. Jesus Christ, I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. Yeah, it's, I don't have like strong feelings on the STD/STI thing. I still use STDs just because like it's a recognizable term. I don't know if I'm like a hashtag bad sex educator for not using STIs more. If y'all want to cancel me, go for it. Like I clearly have nothing to lose. Wait, okay, sorry. I'm trying to keep up with the, from Dead God Jess, my bio teacher just told us no one is a virgin. Condoms work. Don't let anyone tell you they're infertile. And I loved her. I have thoughts about the no one is a virgin thing. I don't know if that's like exploding the concept of virginity like I did a couple weeks back in the Queering Virginity stream or what, but I'm into that. Champ. Condoms do work. I'm talking like 99% effective, so like don't fuck with that. God, I am wildly off my outline now. Okay. So, okay, right. So by acting like teenagers and people in general aren't going to have like any kind of sense of their own sexuality existing unless we tell them, we're not preventing them from developing that. We are reinforcing a cultural attitude of shame and mystery around discussing sex, which more or less ensures that people will be getting the bulk of their information from each other or Cosmo magazine or porn. So, like pretty much the nightmare scenario as you do. If y'all want to cancel me, go for it. Would be a great sticker. I don't even need it. It doesn't need to be a sticker. It's just kind of like a neon sign that I think floats above my head at all times. That's just kind of the aura I give off. I frankly cannot believe I haven't been canceled yet. I don't know. I just like the other day reshared a post that I wrote a while back about how like I live on like a tightrope between constant anxiety about getting canceled and also like have reached a point where I've been on the internet doing this so long that I'm just kind of numb. Like I live in constant fear, but also cannot give a shit about it. It's a weird place to exist. Don't get popular on the internet, guys. I've seen a couple folks referencing the cursed lesson that is learning about sex from fanfic. You're correct. We touched on that also a couple weeks back, I think. I don't remember how it came up though, but yeah, fanfic is porn. That falls under the porn category. And that sometimes it is like super realistic. Like some people like Unpretty, who is like the best DC writer in the world, like always takes a moment to like make sure like they're discussing what's up with condoms, and that's great. But then like some fanfic writers are like, and then the bigger penis opened up to engulf the smaller penis and they did gay sex, I came across a list once of like bad things that were used as lube in fanfic, and like it was everything from like spit, which you can use, to like blood, which I wouldn't recommend, at all to the edible stuff like we're talking about over here. I think what I swear to God, I saw someone mention like just like cement out of a cement mixer, which I'd hope like most people reading know isn't going to work. But what I'm getting at is that fanfic is a mixed bag and that you shouldn't take all or even most of your information about safe sex from fanfic. Anyway, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of what's over here. Fanfic is like soft porn, debatable. I think like in the term that there's not like, you know, a visual, it's soft, but like there's some fanfic that goes fucking hard. We're not here to talk about fanfic tonight. I save it for the Sex Witch Erotica Corner, which is another one of my Patreon tiers. I need to stop plugging. I sound like the fucking McElroys during Maximum Fun Drive. Bless their hearts. So there is also just like numerically the fact that the average American's first sexual experience happens at the age of 17, which for most Americans means high school. They're not waiting till marriage. They're not even waiting until they have a high school diploma. And frankly, I don't think they should have to. There are obviously like a lot of circumstances in which teenage sex can be bad, like if there's an exploitative, creepy older partner, or if the teen in question isn't emotionally ready or knowledgeable enough to have safe sex. I certainly wasn't when I was 17. But a lot of people are. And I think in a safe setting with a partner who isn't committing statutory rape, that teenagers should have every right to be sexual beings. Unfortunately, a safe setting doesn't just mean emotional safety. It means knowing how to be physically safe. And that's not happening because in addition to those unwanted teen pregnancies, people between 15 and 24 make up around 15% of all the new STI cases every year. Ooh, what do we got? No, I know. Yeah, I know that the Max Fun Drive just ended. That's why it's like a topical reference because like I've been jamming all my podcasts, you know, all week. And every time it's like, here comes the Max Fun Drive plug. Oh, okay. We're still talking about fanfic a little bit. I want to be clear that was not like a dig at the McElroys or their livelihood. I love and support them so much. And if I can afford to support them financially, I would in a heartbeat, mostly because I want all their sick donor content. So 15 to 24 makes up 15% of all the new STI cases every year. And if you think that 15 sounds young to be getting an STI, buckle up because our friends at Georgia University found that abstinence-only states also have the highest level of teenagers who become sexually active before the age of 13. And I am cool with teenagers having sex. I am not cool with the 13 and under crowd getting in on it. That's not even a teenager. That is a baby fetus child. I'm not comfortable with that, and I don't think anyone should be. We need education. We need to work on that. We need to look at like the correlation between a lack of education and that super young age being sexually active. There's a lot of work that needs to be done there. Yeah, at all caps, oof, the babies. Yeah. Ooh, at people thinking you're supposed to bleed the first time, we're going to talk about that. You know I have feelings about the hymen. Oh, God. Okay, I don't know. I don't want to know what your experience with the under teens exploring sex is. I'm sorry. I'm fragile. It squeezes me out too much. I can't do it. So some schools try to keep the kids from getting it on by making abstinence pledges trendy. They go so far as to have the kids like sign agreements to wait until they're married to have sex, and they give them like little cards to prove it, presumably in case the kids are like ever at a party and they're getting hit on and they need to like shut it down immediately. But the abstinence pledge ship has been sinking for years. All the way back in 2004, a study found that about 88% of teen abstinence pledgers end up having premarital sex anyway. That is an abysmal failure rate, y'all. Yeah, okay. I'm glad we're all horrified about the under 13s doing the did. Sorry, my sister, I just got a message from my sister that popped up saying, hey, want to see a video of a horse stealing the bucket I was shoveling his poop into? My sister is having a time, y'all. She works at a ranch. Oh, Jordan's here. Hey, Jordan. Ooh. Sorry, got to hydrate or dehydrate. Another new water bottle this week. It says, but first, water. Oh my God, Jordan, I was almost late to my own stream because I was watching ContraPoints. What up? Same hat. All right. Where were we? Okay, so I want to be clear. I don't have a problem with anyone who decides to like take an abstinence pledge of their own free will, whether they're like waiting until marriage or if it's for religious reasons or if they're just not interested in having sex ever. Those are all awesome things. What is not awesome is when the educators who are supposed to be looking out for their students' best interests coerce them into believing that abstinence is morally better than the alternatives. And boys, there's a heavy moral component to this. Unsurprisingly, abstinence-only education tends to come with a hefty side of slut-shaming. Sex ed icon Dr. Lindsay Doe has a whole video in which she collected strange metaphors from her viewers' sex ed classes, all of which were like meant to demonstrate how somebody who's been used is less desirable than someone who's like unblemished and clean and pure. All of which fall apart pretty fast. Some of the notable ones, I will link her video in the description of this video, of course, but some of them were like, used tape. If you've been stuck to a lot of things, you stop sticking. Hey, dumbasses, the same thing happens if you stick the same piece of tape to one person over and over again. Once you have sex with your husband 20 times, your vagina falls out, I guess. Water with spit in it. I think that's one that my high school did also. Like, they'd pass around a cup and everyone would just a loogie up in it and like, see, it's gross now because everyone spit in it. Again, the same thing fucking happens if one person spits in a cup of water mold. I'm spitting now. I'm literally spitting mad. Sorry. I'll cover my mouth. I won't. I don't know what it'll do to the microphone. But it's, again, that makes no sense. If you ask me, I think the cup of water is ruined as soon as the first person spits in it, whether that person represents your partner or not. The most disgusting thing in the world to me is when couples share things. This is a little bit off track, but I'm trying to keep the mood light. Once when I was a freshman in college, I watched my friend and her partner share a sucker, like just took it right out of my friend's mouth and her girlfriend put it in her mouth and I wanted to throw up in my mouth. So that was bleak. There's the chewed up gum narrative, which is again like, oh, this gum's already chewed up. Now it's gross and no one will want it, which again begs the question of like, oh, well, like once you get married and your spouse chews you up, do you have to get a divorce now because you're gross and they'll never want you again? Yeah, these are absolutely disgusting, right? I love the outrage. The last one, flowers without a petal, where like the metaphor worked with like each person pulled one petal off the flower and oh man, now she doesn't have any more petals because she's a gross whore. Like, okay, again, once your husband pulls all those off, you're just disgusting and he won't want you either. So these are the kind of things that like, as an adult, I think you can like pretty clearly pick apart as like a small impressionable teen with your little absorbent baby brain. They kind of sink in. Yeah, Jesus Christ, indeed, Roman. If anyone had any of these, oh, I like Dead God Jess has, but then your husband is trapped with you because you had his kids. Right-wing logic. You're correct. Yeah, it goes towards the sexist for procreation, not fun thing. You're right. There's lots to unpack here. There's a lot of conservative Christian ideology in even the schools that aren't supposed to be religious because this country is a fucking nightmare. Also, shout out to the 28 people currently watching, 29 people currently watching. Look at those numbers go, y'all. I feel oh, it dropped immediately to 28 again. 29 didn't like me talking about them. Sorry. Come back. Oh my God, you guys, my dad is here. What's up? Yay. So while these like super gross, nonsensical demonstrations are usually nominally aimed at the whole class, they are, oh, like Julia Riley just said, almost always targeted at the girls because life is a fucking nightmare for the girls. Oh, he is definitely not Mr. Martz. He is Mr. Wynn. That was a good try, though. Actually, no. Please make my adopted queer father take my last name. I'm the captain now. I shouldn't think this is as funny. No, it's okay, Jordan. Mr. Martz is my biological father, who's a bastard, and I hate him. Oh Christ, this is good. I love this stream. Anyway, we were talking about misogyny. So, my train of thought is off the rails. Are we doing anything fun in the group chat? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Hey, Nate, buddy, listen. If you come hang out in my territory with my people, this is what's going to happen. From Inkling of a Dream, our class's one attempt at aiming a weird metaphor at the guys involved a banana and a mallet. Even more obscure, definitely didn't stick to the message. How did it work? Okay. You take the banana and then you go, boom, and that's what happens when you have sex. The banana explodes, and now you can't eat it. I want to know what they were trying to accomplish there. Like, they did the banana thing to you too. Okay, if anyone has like a vivid recollection of what the fuck they were trying to say with the banana, like, is that just the worst attempt at equality ever? Like, okay, couldn't you spit on the banana? You could, like, as we all know, if you have sex one time, your banana explodes and you die, and your partner gets spit in and everyone's ruined. If anyone ever has sex ever, they're just ruined. I feel like putting a banana in a blender would be a better metaphor. Yeah, all of these do hinge on sex being gross and painful and something that is inherently designed to degrade the person having it. Fucking weird. I want to put a pin in this banana thing. If anyone can, like, remember what the purpose was, please let me know. I am fascinated, partly on, like on many levels, because I really like that, I'm fascinated that they tried to come up with, like, something so clearly targeted at penis owners and also failed so horribly. Yeah, pins and bananas are also interesting. It's a metaphor for chlamydia. So, these demonstrations are, except for some banana instances, really skewed towards the young vagina owners, reinforcing the idea that their value lies in remaining abstinent. And those ideas sink in early. Like, I still remember, the shithead kid in my middle school class who was talking about how, like, a key that can open a lot of locks is a good key, but a lock that gets opened by a lot of keys is a shitty lock. Go to hell, Caleb. Yeah, I mean, there's the putting the condoms on a banana thing, but that was more of like a practical demonstration. This seems to be going in like the opposite direction of practical, wherein having sex is a mallet to the penis. Sorry, not the penis, the phallic fruit that definitely does not represent the penis. It does, and we all know it. In general, sex ed is like really far from vagina friendly. One 2012 study of sex ed in New York public schools found that 2/3 of the districts excluded any mention or depictions of vaginas or the related genitalia. One of them went so far as to refer to the vagina as a sperm deposit. How do we feel about that, team? Oh, we're still talking about the banana thing. We're talking about vaginas now. Stick with me. Yeah, there we go. There's the outrage. Okay, so what information is present about vaginas is largely related to menstruation, pregnancy, and childbirth, essentially setting the vagina up as a veritable carnival of horrors for young vagina owners. Oh no, everyone's so upset over here. Okay, yeah, it's cursed. It's bad. It's grody. There's a lot happening. Yeah. Okay. So, I also want to take a sidebar here and say that I wrote that line about vaginas being portrayed as a carnival of horrors, like a couple of weeks ago. So, like, that was already done. It was not meant to be topical with some of the questions I've been getting on my blog just this week. But I have been getting a lot of, like, super distressing asks about periods in particular and just, like, vaginal pain as a whole. So I felt so strongly about that, I decided to schedule a whole stream into April about how people with vaginas are really often taught to ignore their pain and their body telling them things about their vaginas, and just kind of, like, conditioned to suck it up and accept that whatever happens just happens when they're bleeding, which is bullshit. Like, we're putting up with things like passing out, our legs going completely numb, throwing up on a regular basis, which are not levels of pain that we should tolerate and almost definitely suggest that something really fucking bad is going on in your body. So in, I believe, 3 weeks, I'm going to be talking about how the vagina is not supposed to be a mystery dungeon. We should know how it works. We should pay attention to our pain signals. Join me then. Shameless plug for myself. Anyway, getting back on track there. You guys can't hear this, but through the wall, I can hear the cat smacking around one of his little jingly balls. I believe he's knocked it under something, but he can just hang in there. So, the vagina and like surrounding genitalia just kind of get set up as like a total mystery that I think to a large degree we're like actively encouraged to be afraid of. When I was in 5th grade, we got split into like gender segregated groups to watch videos about what boys and girls, however you want to define those, should expect from puberty. I don't know what the boys saw, but afterwards they went outside and like played kickball like nothing had really changed for them. All of the girls immediately sprinted to the bathroom to try and figure out if we'd all started our periods. Like, it was like we all thought that once you learned about it, menstruation would just like descend upon the entire grade en masse, like the 11th plague of Egypt. We were fucking terrified, okay? And then most schools don't mention anything about like the external genitalia, like the clitoris or the labia, even though those are things that like roughly half their populations are presumably packing. Even if you don't want to talk about like what the oh, I just like yeeted my pen. Oops, got a little too fired up. Even if you don't want to talk to your students about what the clitoris is for, you could at least bother to mention that like pee comes out of the urethra, not the vagina, or it's totally normal for the labia to be kind of long or lopsided or whatever. I spent like years just assuming my vagina was low-key broken because I didn't know what all the goddamn loose skin down there was. You were given detention for saying the word vulva in class? Annabelle. What a fucking rebel, though. I'm proud of you. Nathan Spalding, gonna make your sister watch the stream about the Mystery Dungeon vaginas. Good. Yeah, religious homeschooling for girls that have 0 mentions of periods. At my father, you're correct. That's bad. Doctors dismissing pain as something natural related to periods. Like, stop. Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about that in the Vagina Mystery Dungeon episode. Like, why it's so fucking hard for people with a vagina to get a decent diagnosis. Why, like, so many folks have to do, like, buckets of their own research and spend years walking around trying to go, like diagnose themselves, basically, and then convince their doctor that, like, hey, I'm pretty sure this is what I have. It's bullshit. I have some feelings about it. So if anyone wants to see me be like aggressively, actively angry in front of a camera for like an hour, join me 3 weeks from now. It's gonna be fun. I don't often get like angry in my real life because that's just like not how I process feelings, but I will get really angry in front of a camera for an audience of like 20 to 30 people talking about vagina owners' pain not being taken seriously. So this is therapeutic for me. The only time in sex ed I've seen mention of the clit was the Devil's Doorbell, and I want to talk about it. Jordan, the floor is yours. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like even non-vagina related issues, like pain for folks who like have vaginas is just, it's not taken seriously. There's a podcast that I really like, or used to really like, still, jury is still out. Their best host just left, but it's called Stuff Mom Never Told You. They did a whole series about women going to the doctor and like really struggling to get proper diagnosis and treatment, and I cannot recommend it enough. We'll definitely be linking when I do that episode. Where were we before I like blacked out having a, oh yeah, okay. And then on top of like the urethra, the clit, the labia, the fucking hymen that I think I believe it was Julia, correct me if I'm wrong, already mentioned, it seems like a common fucking courtesy to tell your young vagina owners that like the hymen is not an impenetrable barrier covering your vagina that will explode and bleed everywhere the first time you have penetrative sex. Like, please teach the children to use their critical thinking skills for 3 seconds. If your vagina was like bricked up, there is no way you can have a period. Like, I get so mad about the hymen. Oof. I'm sorry. Emily, it took hours of Googling before I figured out what I had and demanded that the doctor do the right tests and give me a proper diagnosis, which is shit, but like, fucking congrats to you for only taking a couple hours, man. Like, I'm absolutely not trying to say like some people have it worse. Like, all pain is on equal footing. But like, Jesus God, like it takes some people years. At my father saying a good band name would be mad about the hymen. You're right. From a vagina having spoonie, my orthopedic surgeon stretched my legs too far and they hurt for like 3 days. Ugh, not cool. Not cool at all. So that's like my hymen rage for the evening. Ooh, hymen rage might be a nice shorter band name, I think. In fairness, to some degree, sex ed is pretty body negative for everyone involved. Like perfectly normal things like masturbation and nocturnal emissions and wet dreams tend to get danced around or treated like jokes if they come up at all, which is like the worst thing you could do to help these kids like learn to process their new sexual feelings. There's generally not a lot of discussion about like pubic hair or vaginal discharge or variations in how genitalia and bodies look, discussions about things like what sex looks like for people with disabilities and different body types, which is not doing anything to make anyone feel less ashamed of all their new bodily changes. There's just like all these poor fucking kids whose bodies are revolting on them, doing all this weird, moist, hairy shit that no one prepared them for. And like all they tell you is, oh, you're going to start sweating. Trust me, the kids have noticed. They know they're sweating. They want to know why the fuck they want to masturbate all the time and what is coming out of their genitals. Please help them. There's my water. Should be a high femme punk band. Well, that's not fair. I wouldn't even be allowed in the fucking band after I named it, Nate. I am excited for the calligraphy of hymen rage, though. Okay, so maybe we're thinking, well, hey, like surely parents can at least handle these conversations with their kids. Think again. Culturally, the United States is not a country where talking about sex with your parents, or if you are a parent with your child, is super encouraged. I mean, like, think of one TV show or movie or book or comic or anything where somebody's parent tries to talk to them about sex and it's treated as weird and uncomfortable and awkward and just like a huge joke. Now think of another one. Think of another one. Think of another one. There's so many. It goes on forever. It happens all the time. Most of our media like primes us to think about talking about sex with a parent as something that should be avoided at all costs and just like scripts it as like an inherently awkward conversation because we are a country with a culture that is deeply uncomfortable having the talk. Like it's so bad we named it the talk, capital letters, bolded for emphasis. Most parents are perfectly happy to farm out the talk to schools, which isn't great for like many of the reasons we already listed. But for those that don't want to do that, there are also 36 states that allow parents to opt their kids out of sex ed completely. And I really wish I could tell you that the parents who do that are always doing it because they want to make sure their kids get like good, comprehensive educations. I wish I could tell you that, but I absolutely can't. Too often parents pull their kids out of sex ed because they don't want them to learn anything, probably operating on that same mindset of, oh, well, if their sex ed teacher doesn't tell them, they'll just never even develop those feelings. And those students don't even get like the rudimentary shit-tastic sex ed as the rest of us use as a jumping off board to better things. Yeah, from Julia. My mom gave me a book that had the advice that a mother should give her daughter an opal ring when she got her period to celebrate. I mean, like, sure, but also you should, like, talk to her and give her information about her body. Please. From Inkling of a Dream, my mom opted me out and totally intended to teach it herself. Thank goodness for the Planned Parenthood website. Y'all, if you aren't aware, the Planned Parenthood website has really good comprehensive pages of information on a lot of topics. Emily's mom farmed it out to a series of booklets, which is somewhat better if they're good booklets. Did anyone else have the American Girl book that like taught you about your body? I think I did. Oh, and for those of you who are keeping score at home, 36 states let parents yank their kids out of class. That is more states than even require sex ed in the first place, which is America in a nutshell. Arbitrary individual rights to make shitty decisions, Trump education every time, yeehaw, gunshot noise. Y'all are so lucky I do these live, so I can't edit in like a ton of stupid sound effects because I would have like gone ham on that. Oh no, from Emily. Anyway, that's how I misunderstood what a period was, and anytime my underwear got kind of sweaty, I thought it must be my period starting. Yeah. Yeah. I remember to throw back to me and my classmates all like running to the bathroom and thinking we started our periods en masse. Like, we didn't know what a fucking period looked like. We were like, oh, I think I see something red in there. I think it was a string that like fell off someone's sweatshirt. Roman, don't encourage me. I can't afford a soundboard. Y'all do not want to sit through me playing with a soundboard. I get distracted enough as it is trying to keep my notes straight. Barjo's here, yay! Oh my god. Okay, I'm glad that you're here for the back half because it is late where you are. I'm glad you have popcorn though. Everyone say hi to Marjo. I'm so freaking happy she's here. Roman, don't determine my stretch goals for me, but like maybe. From Inkling of a Dream, in Utah, at least, the teachers are advised by admins not to say the words sperm or egg until everyone in the class is assigned permission slip. Oh, Marjo, it's so late. We're going to talk fast. We're going to speed run. We're going to speed run. That's not how you teach. But yeah, no, a lot of schools are very touchy. Like if you say anything without very, very explicit permission, you're out forever. I have an acquaintance who used to work for Planned Parenthood here in Michigan and would go into schools and teach elementary kids, but like was very, very restricted. She told me once about how like if she ever like took a condom into the building, she would be banned forever. Which makes me suspect that this was like some semi-incomplete sex ed she was forced to peddle, which is a downer and a half because she is a smart fucking lady and could have done a lot better. Oof. Oh, from my dad, Utah finally approved a bill saying it's okay to have sex before marriage. How progressive of them. Oh, Utah. So, now that we've talked at exhausting length about all of the things that mini curriculums do very badly, let's talk about a couple of the things that they also do badly by not talking about them at all. Consent and the existence of queer people. So, a lot of classes will offer a pretty comprehensive discussion about how to say no to sex that you don't want to have, but that's not actually the same as teaching consent. For one thing, even the teachers that aren't pushing abstinence generally don't want to talk about the practical aspects of their students actually having sex, which means never learning how to say yes to the sex that you do want to have. And that's a huge problem because learning how to comfortably navigate sexual boundaries with a partner is important. And learning to pursue sexual partners in ways that don't cross into harassment is really important. Hey, why did I just come back and see in the group chat that a senator tried to argue for gun control with a picture of Reagan on a velociraptor? This was Utah again, right? Okay, we don't have time to unpack all of that. California was the first state to really push the issue of how consent was taught back in 2014, emphasizing not just the no means no model, but also the absence of a no is not the presence of a yes model, which sounds pretty basic, but a lot of the pushback was absolutely horrifying. Like, rather than just accepting that consent is something that requires slightly more than like a one-word answer, the wingnuts really came out to scream about how next thing you know, California is going to be making it illegal to make eye contact with someone. Ugh. Which is how you make sure we get another generation of young people growing up not knowing what harassment is or even what it looks like. I can't speak for everybody's class, but in Billings, Montana, where yours truly originated, we were taught to say no in situations that were like completely cut and dry. It was like a stranger who was clearly sleazy walking up to us at a party and flat out saying, "Hey, do you want to have sex?" At which point you would presumably pull out your certified abstinent card and fling it at them like a ninja star and say, "Be gone, thought." And that was like the end of that. That's right. I planned a brick joke with the abstinence communication, the abstinence only card. Haha. Ooh. How about learning to accept no as an answer? That's a good one. Wasn't that when people were freaking out about how you needed to have a written contract to have sex? Yes. God, do people love taking a fairly reasonable request and exaggerating it for days. Western Michigan, the only place where I met 2 people actually from Montana. Thanks, Dad. Who's the other one? Can I meet them? Can we hang out? Can we start a support group? Yeah, Marjo, I did just say "be gone, thought." If anyone was like really on the edge of their seat to hear that come out of my gay little mouth. Or like the wallet in the John Mulaney skit. Yeah. 2 John Mulaney references in like 2 minutes. Yeah, you just take the abstinence only card and you want my virginity? Go get it. Another great way to avoid having sex, I guess. Or we can use our grown-up words. But they never like told us in, you know, these like little skits we were supposed to act out what to do if like you're in a car with someone you thought was really cool and suddenly they're touching you in ways that you are not really cool and they're like putting your hand on their junk. And by not teaching us how to say no when we were the person being touched in ways we didn't want, they also weren't teaching us that it was wrong to be the person doing that kind of touching. You'd hope that's obvious, but considering the horrifyingly high rates of sexual assault that people still experience, I guess not. Shocking. Yeah, the options were, wait, what do we got? Also, the only options were being a straight girl or a gay guy. In what world? Oh my God. Oh wait, there was like a consent game online with a situation at a party and it was strange. The only options were being a straight girl or a gay guy. I don't love that at all. I feel weird about that. We don't have time. Again, John Mulaney is so helpful in this field. We don't have time to unpack all of that or maybe any of it. It seems to rely on the assumption that only like men are predators, which is not true, or that only men can like commit sexual harassment or assault. See, now y'all are saying street smarts and you've confused my father. That's Nate. You have watched John Mulaney. I know that. I was there. I was in your living room. Keep up. Get hip with the youth. Begone Thought cannot be another band name. It is already a meme. God, exposing him to the internet was whack. Hey, go subscribe to his YouTube channel, though. He does music stuff. So on to the gay stuff right here at the tail end. That's not a pun. Don't make it one. There are only 12 states that require sexual orientation to be covered in the curriculum. And if that sounds bad, wait for it. It's actually worse than you think because 3 of those states require sexual orientation to be covered specifically to make sure that the students know that being gay is bad and dangerous. For anyone curious, the 3 states on our shit list are Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas. Arizona and Oklahoma are also on the shit list honorarily. They are not required to specifically... they are. Okay. So it is not in their books that they have to say being gay is bad and dangerous. But it is on their books that when they talk about HIV, they are banned from presenting the gay lifestyle in a positive light. Fuck off. It's very possible that Tennessee had that on the books at one point. It used to be 4 states. I believe Utah was the most recent one to drop it. So Utah's really moving along. Oh, Caitlin. Oh, yeah. So there are still 9 states that require schools to touch on sexual orientation in a positive way. They do only specify, most of them only specify that it's sexual orientation. Many of them roll in gender identity. I know California does for sure. California. From Jordan. Alabama teachers specifically have to say homosexuality is illegal if asked. I don't think so. Hang on. To be clear, I'm not doubting that they have to say that. I'm saying that I don't think that's true anymore. Same-sex sexual activity has been legal in Alabama since 2003. So that's much more recently than you'd like to think. But not true. So... Hey, Jordan, next time a teacher in your school says that homosexual activity is illegal in your state, slam them with a fucking law book, which I assume everyone in Alabama carries around with their banjo. I'm sorry, that was a bad stereotype about Alabama. Jesus fucking Christ. Alabama teachers are required to lie to children. Yeehaw. Oh, fuck yeah. Carol, y'all had it going on in Canada. At Emily Note is absolutely not still illegal in some states. In fairness, loosely, like a lot of states only recently decriminalized homosexual activity, a lot of air quotes here, because they just kind of like forgot to take it off the books and got lazy. Like most states were not still busting down people's doors and arresting them for doing gay stuff in the year 2003 numbers. But like, you know, they were on the books to begin with. And if there was anywhere that was still enforcing that, I feel like Alabama may have been one of them. I mean, okay, in fairness, like in 2003, when a lot of these laws were going off the books, there were not any like legally recognized married gay couples. Wasn't Michigan one of the first to decriminalize sodomy and stuff? Let me find out. I'm mad. I had like my whole ending planned, and then you guys distracted me with research. I've had like reservations about like Googling things before while I'm talking to you guys. Because I was like, they don't want to just watch my research face. And then I was like, they'll sit through anything. I'm charismatic. Illinois was actually the very first state to decriminalize homosexuality in 1961. Talk to me about whatever states did it in 1969. Yeah, Alabama should be on people's shit lists for a lot of reasons. Yeah, Marjo, you're living in like a fucking European utopia. Don't even talk to me. Also, the cat wants back in. Sit tight. I'm sorry, did someone just demand a charisma roll? Maybe. Okay, welcome back, poop boy. If you want to come back in, you've got to say hi. Them's the rule. Oh, my microphone. Okay. Hey, the cat just knocked the mic. Okay, I knocked the microphone over. Please tell me you can still hear me. Please tell me you can still hear me. Stop talking about the cat and tell me if you can hear me. Okay, thank God. I was really afraid this was going to be a repeat of the time I was doing a live stream with Jacqueline and the microphone gave up like 10 minutes in. And I was like, yo, this is an hour and 6 minutes in. I can't replicate this. Okay, yay. Look at all that affirmation. Woo! Loud and clear. Sorry. I know my voice is a little on the shrill side. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So if that's coming at you loud, like, turn it down a little. God. It was not hilarious. I had to restart a stream from fucking scratch. Do you know how hard it is to recreate your organic banter? Loud and queer. Fuck yeah, Nate. All right. Where was I on okay, so even states that aren't like actively required by law to be homophobic shitholes in their sex ed tend to skew heteronormative and cis sexist in ways that can obviously be alienating as hell to their young queer populations. Not only are you supposed to wait until marriage, for that marriage is presumed always to be between a cisgender heterosexual man and woman. It's incredibly limiting. It's incredibly limiting. There we go. I know words. Sorry, I got distracted reading the group chat. I'm not actually sorry for my voice. I just like preemptively belittle myself. It's like the same reason I always call myself a bitch. Like if I say it first, no one else can in a way that hurts me. So party on. No, but the last time I heard a guy called shrill was never. Sidebar, have y'all seen that new series Shrill? I haven't, but the book's really good. I should watch it though, because one of the episodes was written by Samantha Irby, who is like the dopest writer ever, and I met her in an airport once. Anyway, so my voice is cute. Thank you. I immediately proceeded to make it as uncute as possible. Okay, from Annabelle, the one kid out as bi in my grade was bullied so bad she had to be hospitalized. Yeah, let's fucking talk about how limiting it is when we don't present being anything other than straight and cis as a valid option for the kids in your class, okay? Like, I am... Arcane, what the fuck? God. I know I have a lot of complicated feelings about the internet as a source of sex education for people, but I am so, so grateful that queer kids can find, like, any sense of community and affirmation that they are not wrong or weird and that there are other people like them these days, while Arcane can sit down until he starts paying bills. Because there's just, it's like the isolation prior to that has just got to be fucking unimaginable. And you know, there's still a lot of teachers who try to reinforce that. Again, if you support me on Patreon, you can like read this post. But when my sister was in her high school sex ed class and was like live texting me the whole thing, she was telling me about how she tried to ask her teacher, like, oh, well, like, what are the safe sex rules like if it's 2 boys or 2 girls? And her teacher was like, oh, that doesn't happen. And ma'am, I understand that you are an underpaid gym teacher in Billings, Montana, but the year is 2015, I think it was 20 something. Glee had been out for like 6 years. They knew gay people existed, is what I'm saying. You can't tell a room full of 14-year-olds with smartphones. Meh. Oh, Julia, that is such a good lead-in. As an ace person, still big mad about the lack of info in school. I would have been way less stressed years ago if that was the thing when we learned that. For anyone who is sitting there going like, oh, well, I bet like ace people are fine at least. Wrong-o. While these classes tend to emphasize waiting to have sex until you're married, they also assume that everyone has to be convinced to wait because they assume everyone wants sex. There aren't a lot of discussions of the alternative, and that can be just as alienating in its own way. A couple years ago, I ran one of my informal surveys asking ace people to share their sex ed experiences. And one person told me about how their sex ed teacher flat out said that he would have killed himself if he hadn't experienced sexual attraction by the time he was 15, in response to a 15-year-old saying he hadn't experienced sexual attraction. Like, what the fuck? Who let you work with children? At that teacher, turn on your location. I just want to talk with my tiny bony fists. Yeah, it was a lot. Oof. Dead God Jess, I'm very glad that your 10-year-old has better sex ed than from her school than the teens are getting right now. I'm stoked. Your kid deserves it. From Marjo, I was one of the first queer girls in my school with no queer education, so I was very happy to have the internet. God bless. Yeah, I will also fight the teacher. Yeah, like who, like just imagine, you know, like looking I mean, that's not an appropriate thing to say to a child for any reason when the child is clearly coming to you because this is like a thing they are preoccupied by. Like, why would you fucking do that to them? Oof. Okay, listen, I can also fight the teacher. We can fight the teacher together. It seems like we have a group ready to like gang up and fight the teacher as a unit. Just imagine. Nate, you're like an inch taller than me. Sit down. I wear your shirts that you give me. We're the same size. Oof. Whoa, we've got a 3-time black belt. Okay. Everyone's down to like throw down with this teacher. Okay. I love that. We're ready to fight. Yeah, I know you've got fucking massive shoulders, which is why your shirts don't fit anymore and you throw them to me. Whatever. Height-wise, we are the same. Anyway, this is not about who's taller than me. The answer is everyone. My wrap-up here is not fighting the teacher. Basically, that is another instance of just kind of American sex ed in a nutshell. It's the like, don't have sex, you'll get pregnant and die. Now everyone takes some rubbers. Don't do this thing, you'll get pregnant and catch super herpes and be a filthy sinner and die. But also like, everyone grows up and gets married eventually and does it, and then you're on your own after that. Like, that's not even getting into how, like, it's just assumed that, like, married people don't ever need contraceptives. Because, like, obviously, if you're married, you're, like, ready to get pregnant. That's a thing everyone wants. It's ludicrous. Oh, geez. Oh, we're going on over here. Did everyone hear that? My heater just made a very distressing noise. No, to answer all y'all's questions, I'm like 5 foot nothing. This hair is some of the height. I'm very small, and it seems like there's a lot of shorties here. I am a goblin. Yeah, we're tiny. This is a tiny squad. Maybe I draw other small people to me magnetically. Woof. Yeah, all right, listen, I'm a tiny, it's fine. If y'all, it might be Hobbit hair. I don't know. I don't have an ongoing relationship with Tolkien. If y'all know Tumblr user, the DA Canary, aka Rachel, she's the only Tumblr friend that I've met in real life. And when we met, she was like, oh, I thought you'd be taller just from like your internet everything. Most people assume you have to be taller and more ready to throw down if you're going to be this much of a bitch on the internet, but like, surprise. Hey Nate, nobody asked how much older than me you are. That was weird that you felt the need to throw that in. Friendly reminder, my dad's old. He's not that old. Anyway, so what do we do about this like American sex ed nightmare while Nate undoubtedly sends a sad emoji to the group chat because I called him old? We can lobby for policy changes, of course, like vote in people who are like dedicated to changing this. But honestly, when I was in my undergrad doing my independent research on this topic, my advisor kind of gently suggested that for the time being, the most realistic and attainable option might just be saying fuck the system and doing it ourselves. There are a lot of great people working online to provide better sex ed. Lindsay Doe, of course, is a bae. Heather Corinne's Scarletine that answers specifically like teen sex ed questions is phenomenal. I'm out here trying, just kind of like sharing resources where we can, helping people find alternate routes. Because like I said, the internet is here for better or worse. It's going to be a tool in like shaping how a lot of young people learn about sex education and their own sexualities. The best we can do is like try to put some responsible folks on a platform and let people find them. That is my spiel. Mary, you can absolutely ask one last thing. It's chat time, y'all. This is like the after show section. Like, do y'all remember when they used to do that for Teen Wolf? I don't know why I zeroed in on Teen Wolf. A lot of shows do like after show talks, but I've only seen like 3 television shows in my life because I'm a bog hag who lives in a stack of twigs. Y'all ever just like say words? Mary, what was your question? Please type faster, I'm begging. Oh, Marjo just discovered after show talks. Not like after every show. God. Oh, okay, wait. More like the Jackie Chan Adventures because educational. Was that the animated one? I watched that where they had like talismans based on the Chinese zodiac. Fuck, that was good. What color do you want the Hyman Rage calligraphy? Also, will you link to the Planned Parenthood stuff? Hyman Rage calligraphy should be a dashing shade of purple, obviously. Specifically, what do you want me to link from Planned Parenthood? Because they've got pages on like everything. Like if you Google like Planned Parenthood vasectomy, boom, there's your page. Who's sharing one brain cell? Everyone in this chat. I take that back immediately. There's like one brain cell ping-ponging around in here. And I love it. I love sharing that brain cell with all of you. This is such a fun time we share. If anyone has like any more questions related to this or like follow-up stuff, please send them now while I run some quick announcements by you. I just want to make sure everyone knows the upcoming schedule. So next week there is no stream, which I'm sad about. But I will be in Detroit with Nate actually, working on a conference that I've spent the last 6 months organizing, running that from like start to finish, like 8 to 7:30. I think it's going to be like a bonkers, 9-hour speed run. I'm going to be, in addition to like organizing things and helping set up and coordinate volunteers, I'm going to be running a workshop about queering virginity. I'm going to be facilitating a sex educators meetup at the end of the day, which is super cool. If anyone's in the Detroit area and wants some free food, come hang with us, tell your friends, whatever. But the week after that on, I don't know, numbers, April 13th, I'm going to be talking about romance and whether or not we romanticized romance too much. We are going to deep dive a little bit into like the evolution of marriage as a social construct that people believe should be predicated on romance and mutual love. If y'all are into social constructs, that's your night because the sociology major is really going to jump out. But we're also going to get into like what the idea of like soulmates has done to dating, especially in like the 21st century when we seemingly have like limitless options on like Tinder and OkCupid and whatever the hell people use. I'm glad you're excited. I don't even know which one you're excited about, but I love your all caps. Mwah. We're going to talk a lot about what I think everyone can learn from like polyamory culture, and even if you're not interested in like practicing polyamory yourself, like how you can apply like kind of polyamory ideals onto like a monogamous relationship and like not making a single person your everything, which I think is healthy in a big way, and also is a very recent idea. So that is going to be on the 13th. On the 20th, we are doing the Vagina is Not a Mystery Dungeon night. Marjo, it's okay. You can watch them after when it's not 3:30 in the morning your time. Please, I'm begging you. I feel so bad that I'm ruining your sleep schedule. You're only 19. The construction of social constructs fascinates me. congrats. You've got a whole ass sociology major who's not doing anything else with her degree. My dad's a polyamory newbie. God love him. Marjo, I know it's not as fun, but you gotta sleep. You just have to, okay, you for sure get to sleep next week because there's not a stream. Catch up then. Caitlin, I'm really glad that, like, I'm not shading you at all. I'm really glad that you're, like, actually hopping in the chat now and not just using this as background noise anymore. I like having you here. Yes. Okay, Aero and polyam issues overlap an amazing amount. Yes, we should talk about that more. We're gonna incorporate that. I just got so excited. Studying polyamory has been awesome for my marriage. Hell yeah, dead God Jess. I love this enthusiasm. I love sharing things with you guys. So then that is the 13th. April 20th is when we are doing the Vagina is Not a Mystery Dungeon, and I talk about why I really, really want vagina owners to get better at, like, learning what pain is normal and when to ask for better. And also, we're going to really dig into the ways we talk about vaginas and how they're treated as, like, a wacky puzzle box, which is stupid. At Marjo, no, Nate is not my actual biological father. My biological father is a filthy bastard man. Nate is my chosen queer father figure who is, like, way cooler. So Vagina Mystery Dungeon Night is the 20th. And then the 27th, we're going to do the double digits Ask Me Anything live stream, which I'm excited for. I'm kind of doing it to give myself a night off, but that is going to be like the lucky 11th episode. Quit with your sunglasses emojis. It's not that hard to be cooler than my bastard father. All you have to do is not cheat on my mother. I've handled that well. Anyway, so that is going to be on I forgot the date immediately, the 27th? The 27th. It is not actually the first double digits, like the 10th stream total. We're going to hit double digits, guys. Is going to be the Vagina Mystery Dungeon one, but that's more important, so I want to do it first. So the 11th is not the 11th episode on the 27th is going to be the Ask Me Anything. I'm going to open up, like, an anonymous form that you can submit anonymous questions to if you want, but, like, I'm down. Talk to me about Batman or tarot or, I don't know, books. I've got so many of them over here. Ask me about this weird shit on my wall. Ask me about my community organizing. We'll do whatever. Talk to me about my favorite candle scents. I don't know. It'll be like a fun time to chat. We can talk about Animorphs if you want. Warning, didn't read a lot of the Animorphs books. Read them super out of order. Also, as Nate just pointed out, I could not pass as his biological child. I'm extremely white. So that's not happening. And then I don't have this up on my blog yet, but I'm planning like a month out. I feel so, like, put together when I talk about this with y'all. But the first stream of May, which is going to be the 4th, which is my mom's birthday. Jordan, we will talk about Pokemon Go. I will absolutely talk about Pokemon, please. The AMA is going to be wild. I feel like we're just going to take so I figure one of two things will happen. We'll take all of the chaos energy that is usually reserved for the side conversations during these chats and just make it the whole, like, hour, and it's going to go absolutely buck wild. Or no one will come up with any questions, and I'll sit here feeling like a tool for an hour. Please don't let that happen. I will feel so deeply weird. And like I wasted a week. Yeah, ask about books. Okay, so May the 4th, which is a Star Wars thing, and is also my mom's birthday. Love my mom. We are going to talk about figuring out sexual orientation, and how people can go through, like, a lot of labels before they figure it out. I'm hoping I can bring in one of my dear, dear friends. This one right here, actually, if she can make it. And we're going to talk about, like, why figuring out your labels is a process and our own journeys on that front. I know, like, that's kind of a cliche way to talk about it, but, like, it's a fucking trip. Oh, Emily, you got here just in time for the last couple minutes. Hello. Why a lot of people go through a lot of labels. And then I also want to get into like some unpopular opinions again about like why I think maybe sometimes the community puts too much emphasis on labels and like especially on sticking to the same ones forever. And why it stresses me out a lot that one of the most common questions I get is like, Mackenzie, am I gay? And I'm like, fuck, I can't tell you. If you can't tell you, I can't tell you. I've missed a couple. Oh, Annabelle, please don't ask me Star Wars questions. I've only seen one Star Wars movie. I can't do that. Oh my God, Marjo, please. Okay, Marjo, if you ask me about the long way to a small angry planet, that will be like at least half an hour of the stream. To the Nathan who is not my father, who I believe your Tumblr URL is pickles and things. It'll be a lot like my Tumblr Ask Box, except in real life, which is my nightmare scenario. So you guys know I love you if I do a live one. Julia, please ask me about the Hargreaves kids. Give me an excuse to talk about them more. Yes, 6 of crows, 6 of crows, 6 of crows. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, Emily, who is not the Emily I know in real life, you've got like, I think almost a month to watch The Umbrella Academy, so you're good. You're good, man. If all else fails, I'll keep you supplied with questions by pulling questions from my 1996 edition of Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. That's the year I was born. That feels relevant. Oh shit, okay, I will try very hard to do a spoiler-free AMA. I can't promise I'm going to be good at it. An effort will be made. I will spoil all the Star Wars movies because they're nothing to me. Ha. God, okay. Wait, fuck. What did I already spoil? Oh, 6 of Crows is a very, very good book by Leigh Bardugo. It is like a magical fantasy heist. And also there is a found family of 6 shitty teenagers who I would die for. As I'm sure all of you have noticed, found families are the fastest way to win my entire soul. Oh, okay, yeah, Her, like the movie. Yeah, you're right. Any triggers to be aware of for 6 of Crows? Caitlin, quick. There's definitely there's violence. One of the characters has pretty hefty PTSD. One of the characters is a victim of sex trafficking. Am I missing anything major, Caitlin? Hi, the boy is back. Woo! I could just sit here with him for an hour for the AMA and y'all would be happy. I can't believe he's doing this. He never lets me cradle him this way. Oh, no, okay. Okay, thank you, Caitlin. I think those were definitely the major trigger warnings for 6 of Crows. The sequel does contain some content of a character being kind of forcibly put in a mental institute that could be upsetting for sure. Marjo, that would be very helpful. If you want to send a link to that just directly to my blog, that would be very cool of you. Julia has feelings about Robot Mom. Julia, I have so many feelings about Robot Mom. Oh, do we have another same cat? If you are comfortable sending me a picture, we have 2 same cats. If y'all are comfortable sending me pictures of your cats, I would love to add them to the same cat club that I started with Lucky Annie. Let's see. To Julia, again, I have a lot of feelings about Robot Mom. Ironically, not ironically, I guess, but go figure, 2 of my favorite characters in the Umbrella Academy ended up being women who just don't get enough screen time and deserve better. At Eudora Patch and Grace. My angels. Okay, yeah, send me those cat pics. Oh, there goes Nate, my father, to go feed the cats and go to bed. Everyone say goodnight to my father. I think almost everyone say goodnight here as well. We are going to start winding down now that I've given you the schedule and what's coming up, and now that I'm big excited for an AMA that's weeks away. I kind of figured y'all would be hyped for that. While we have a good crew here, I do want to remind y'all, I'm currently reaching for my stretch goal. I have a very small stretch goal right now of $99 a month on Patreon. We're only $16 away from that. I wanted to keep it to $99 because $9 is my lucky number, and like 100 felt presumptuous. But if we do that, I will buy a better webcam, I promise, and I will also make, for your viewing pleasure, an unpopular opinions video on John Green. Just like talking about my thoughts on him. If anyone wants to like hop on, like literally if you hop on for like only a month, only $1 a month, it helps a ton. And if you hop on as high as the $10 a month, you're gonna, okay, so everyone who is a $10 a month patron on Patreon, I'm forgetting words, gets to, is going to get a sticker that has a little cartoon horse explaining why orgasms are like horses. And that is going to be shipping out tomorrow. It's up to 92? Who the fuck? Who the fuck joined on? Oh my God. That sounds fake. Oh, we're almost there. Oh, we're up to 93. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, guys, we are $6 away from reaching the stretch goal. Holy shit. That's absolutely ludicrous. Thank you so much, Nathan. That is so kind of you. That y'all are the best. I'm gonna have to like start scripting that John Green video. I didn't think we were gonna get there so fast. I thought $16 was kind of a stretch. That's why it's a stretch goal. That is bonkers to yonkers. Thank you so much. Y'all are so cool. We are currently only $6 away from the stretch goal. So hopefully very soon. Marjo, you are giving me exactly as much as you fucking can. No one is under any obligations. Sit down. Good God. That is, I really need to like, I can't tell y'all enough like how much that that genuinely helps. Like that, you know, like everything, especially since I have been unemployed for the last couple months. I'm starting a new job on Friday, thank God. But like it helps a ton. It's, you know, money that is like buying groceries or is keeping my phone and internet bill paid so that I can be on Tumblr with you all day and doing these things and writing outlines. So that's incredible. I hope y'all enjoy the perks that roll out. Thank you for upgrading. Wow, thank you. We are so terrifyingly close to that now. My entire heart is shaken. I appreciate you guys a whole bunch. Have a beautiful night. I love you. I will not see you next week. I will see you after. I'm looking forward to your cat pics. Be safe, be cool. I love you.